T-Boys TV, back again with another live stream. Obviously, in this stream, we are doing the FA Cup 5th round and the EFL Championship Game Week 23 and 29 at Rescheduled Fixtures predictions. Obviously, the 5th round of the FA Cup is obviously this week. And then there's the Championship games, obviously the Premier League games. I did do them on the last Premier League prediction, so I don't need to do them. So yeah, let's get into it. Obviously, a load of games this week. So yeah, let's get into it, especially around England. But yeah, the first game in the FA Cup is Stoke City versus Brighton and Hove Albion. Now, obviously, Brighton, absolutely destroying Middlesbrough in the the last round, which I was very surprised about. Well, no, sorry, the round before that. Then obviously they beat Liverpool. They're taking on Stoke, who, are not so great in the Championship. Obviously, the magic of the Cup. Obviously, they are the league lower, of course. Brighton, doing well, as we know, in the Premier League. Let's go into a bit of insight going into this game. So it says Stoke and Brighton have only faced each other once before in the FA Cup, a 3-0 home win for the Potters in the 5th round en route to reaching a final in 2010-11. Brighton and Hove Albion have won none of their last 10 games in all competitions against Stoke, which is very interesting. Drawn 2, lost 8 since a 1-0 win in September 2001. The Seagulls last faced the Potters in February 2018 in the Premier League, drawing 1-1. So obviously it's been a good few years since they last played each other. Obviously Stoke have been, in the Championship for quite a while now. Stoke are looking to reach the FA Cup quarter-final stage for the first time since 2011-12. The Potters haven't reached the last 8 while playing outside the top flight since the 1927-28 campaign, when they were in the second tier. Brighton have progressed from 16 of their last 18 FA Cup ties against teams from a lower division, failing against Lincoln City 2016-17, 4th round, and Sheffield Wednesday 19-20, 3rd round in this run. Jacob Brown has 3 goals in his last 4 FA Cup appearances for Stoke, netting in the 3rd and 4th rounds this season. The last Potters player to score in the 3rd, 4th and 5th rounds of the FA Cup in the season was Ricardo Fuller in 2009-10 against York City, Arsenal and Manchester City. So yeah, after saying all that, obviously Brighton have not won their last 10 games against Stoke, which is interesting. I do actually see this being a tight game, to be honest with you. I really do. My prediction for this and what I've done, because you can't do FA Cup predictions like how I do league predictions when I go on that website. I've gone 1-0 to Brighton is my prediction for this one. I think it's going to be a tight affair. And yeah, I reckon that'll be back-to-back 1-0 losses for Stoke. Did get their game right the other day against Millwall. But yeah, I think it will be difficult for Brighton. I know Middlesbrough are a better team in the Championship and they went there and won 5-1. But I don't know. I think Stoke can make it tough. We know what Stoke's being known for as well, that physical side, hoof, etc. Can they do it at Stoke, rare tear? So yeah, I'm going to go 1-0. I think it's going to be a tight one. But yeah, let's go through some comments. Jake says, first, hi, bro. Yep, big up yourself. What are your predictions? We are going through them, mate. We are going through them as we speak. Chris says, evening, mate. I'm off again. I'm slowly getting voice back, but again, not fully 100%. And keep coughing. I'll only go back in if my voice is 100% back. Obviously, I need it for work. Yeah, that exactly. And your predictions 2-1 Brighton. Yeah, a lot of people have said that. But yeah, I'll go 1-0 in that one. Moving on to the next game in the FA Cup. Obviously, there is 8 games. Leicester City, another Premier League versus Championship encounter. There's quite a few of them in this in this round. Leicester City versus Blackburn Rovers. Let's go into a bit of insight on this one. This is the first FA Cup encounter between Leicester City and Blackburn Rovers since the 2004-5 quarter-final. 1-0 by Rovers with a goal from former Foxes striker Paul Dickov. What a name, Leicester and Blackburn haven't faced since March 2014 in the Championship, a 1-1 draw in which Jamie Vardy got on the score sheet for the Foxes. Rovers are winless in their last 10 away games against Leicester. Drawn 4, lost 6 since a 3-1 win in February 1991. In January. Oh, I said February. Leicester City have progressed from each of their last 3 FA Cup 5th round ties, all on home soil and all 1-0 wins versus Sheffield United in 2018, Birmingham 2020 and Brighton 2021. Blackburn Rovers are looking to reach the FA Cup quarter-final for the first time since 2014 to 15. This will be their first tie at the 5th round stage since February 2017, losing 2-1 at home to Manchester United. And then last thing, Leicester's Iheanacho has scored the winner in both the 3rd and 4th rounds of this season's FA Cup. 1-0 wins over Gillingham and Walsall, which I did actually predict that Walsall game spot on. Since his debut in the competition in January 2016, his 17 FA Cup goals were the most of any player. Yeah, every time I watch Leicester in the FA Cup, he tends to do well in this competition. I'm not going to lie, every time I see him, he's doing something. Obviously, like it says there, Blackburn looking to reach the FA Cup quarter-final for the first time since 2014 to 15. This could potentially be an upset. Leicester obviously focusing more on the league. Blackburn, again, they're focusing on trying to get in the playoffs. They are currently sitting 4th, which I'm surprised about given how inconsistent they are. I do think Leicester will win it, though. I do think Leicester will win this one. As for my prediction for this one, I've gone Leicester City 2, Blackburn Rovers 1. Again, I think it'll be another close game. But yeah, that's my prediction for this one. Let me go through your comments. Big up everyone inside. Comments are flying. We love that. Big up yourselves. Hi, big weekend for me watching my new team alongside Leicester. #United beating Sudbury. Is that even how you say it? I don't even know how you say it. 3-2, fair enough. Big up yourself as well. Big up Hanno says hi. Morning Tyler. Big up yourself, Wolf. Big up yourself. Leicester 3-1. Okay, interesting. So yeah, man. They are the ones for that. Moving on to the next game, which is a Premier League encounter. Fulham versus Leeds United. A bit of insight going into this one. This is actually the first ever FA Cup meeting between Fulham and Leeds. The Cottagers won 3-2 at Ellen Road in the Premier League this season. I remember seeing the highlights. What a game. And are looking to beat Leeds twice in the same campaign for the first time since 1959 to 60. Leeds have lost their last 5 FA Cup matches against Premier League sides, failing to score a single goal, which is interesting. Their last such victory was against Tottenham in January 2013. Fulham are playing in the 5th round of the FA Cup for the first time since 2016 to 17. Lost 3-0 versus Tottenham, or 1, I think. They last reached the quarter-final of the competition in 2009 to 10, beating Notts County in that year's 5th round. Leeds have been drawn away from home in each of their last 12 FA Cup ties, the joint longest run in FA Cup history, first round onwards. Along with Aston Villa between 1977 and 1983, and Brighton between 1993 and 2000. And then the last bit, 7 different players have scored for Leeds in the FA Cup this season. Rodrigo, Perkins, Nonto, I can never say his name, Bamford, Firpo, Harrison and Sinistera. The most scorers in a season since 1998-99, also 7. Last having more in the 1966 to 67. Flipping out. I don't know what's going on with my reading today, people. Campaign. So, yeah, that is that. Interesting, about that Fulham stat, especially that second one, where they haven't scored a single goal. Lost their last 5 FA Cup matches against Premier League sides. Fulham, obviously they are trying to focus on getting in the European place, but then again, Leeds are trying to focus on staying up. It is at Craven Cottage. And yeah, I can see Fulham winning this one again. I can see it being another close game. I'm going to go for another Fulham 2, Leeds United 1. is my prediction for that one. I do see Leeds getting a goal in this one, to be honest with you, but I think Fulham can edge it. What was my prediction on the Leicester game? 2-1 to Leicester, mate. 2-1 to Leicester. And yes, I did. I found that out, man. That's rest in peace. You know, thoughts are with family and friends. Yeah, I heard about that actually today. Yeah, man, it's just gutting. Like, I didn't know him personally or anything, but you know, it is upsetting, man. It is upsetting, of course. So yeah, but yeah, let's move on to the next game, which is Bristol City versus Man City. Like I said, a lot of Championship versus Premier League encounters. This is another one. A bit of insight going into this one. This is the first ever meeting between Bristol City and Manchester City in the FA Cup. The most recent encounters were in the 2017-18 League Cup semi-final, with Man City winning both legs 2-1 at home, 3-2 away. Manchester City have won their last 12 FA Cup matches against sides from a lower division by an aggregate score of 42-8. Madness. Their last such defeat was away at Wigan in February 2018, losing 1-0. Pretty sure that's when Wigan actually won the FA Cup, wasn't it? Bristol City have been eliminated from 13 of their 14 FA Cup fifth round ties, with their one exception coming in 1973-74 when they knocked out Leeds United in a replay. Leeds would go on to win the top flight that season. Man City have won their last 10 away games in the FA Cup, a run that stretches back to February 2019. It is the longest away winning run by a team in the history of the FA Cup. That's brilliant there if you're a City fan. Pep Guardiola has managed 35 domestic cup ties as a manager of Barcelona, Bayern Munich and Manchester City against sides from outside the top flight and progress for 34 of them, failing only against Wigan in, obviously, the one they mentioned earlier. Since 2016-17, when he joined City, only Chelsea have won more matches in the FA Cup than City, but only by one. And I reckon this is where Man City level it up. I do think Bristol City could give it a good go, but I think Man City will do it. And I think Man City will win the exact same scoreline as they did last season in the fifth round. And that was also away against Peterborough United. And that was 2-0. And I'm going to go with the exact same here. Bristol City 0, Manchester City 2 is my prediction for that one. Hanno says, dislike both teams. Fair enough. Chris's prediction for Leicester as well is 2-0 to Leicester, so that's fair enough. Moving on to the next game. Fulham 2-1 Leeds, yep, same as me. The next game is interesting. Now, obviously, if Luton did progress, this is who we would have played. Everyone was saying, obviously, it would have been against Nathan Jones. It would have been sick, but obviously it wouldn't have been in the end because he was sacked. Southampton versus Grimsby. And now let's get into some insight into this one. This is the first meeting between Southampton and Grimsby Town in any competition since January 1978, when Saints won 4-1 in the second replay in the FA Cup, third round after 2 goalless draws. Grimsby are looking for their first away win at Southampton since August 1949. Although this is their first visit since January 1978. What a long journey it is and all, by the way. The Mariners have lost their last 4 FA Cup matches, especially midweek, against Premier League opponents, with their first since a 1-0 away defeat at Crystal Palace in January 2019. Southampton have progressed from their last 3 FA Cup fifth round ties, reaching the quarter-final in the last 2 seasons. They haven't been played in the quarter-final in 3 seasons in a row, between 1897 to 98 and 1899 to obviously 1900. Southampton have only lost one of their last 32 matches in the FA Cup against a side from a lower division, and then won 25, drawn 6, a 1-0 defeat to Bristol Rovers in February 2008. And then the last one, Grimsby Town are featuring in the FA Cup fifth round tie for the first time since 1995-96, losing in a replay to Chelsea. Last progressing to the quarter-final in 1938-39, They're also looking to become the first side in FA Cup history to eliminate 5 teams from a higher division than them in a single campaign. Massive shout out to them for doing that, by the way, like 4 already. First round onwards, a shame it was against Luton, one of them, but there we go. Having knocked out Plymouth, obviously Plymouth high flying in League One, well, not really recent weeks, but they're up there. Cambridge, who Luton knocked out last season, Burton and Luton, they're all teams above them in football leagues. Can they do it against Southampton? Now, Southampton tend to do well in cup competitions. You even look this season, despite how they're doing in the league, they got to the semi-final of the League Cup. They're in the 5th round still. That stat earlier about the quarterfinals as well. They haven't done it 3 times in a row since obviously 1897 to 98, like it says there, though. This one, you know what? I could actually, now people might call me mad, but, Southampton obviously focus on the league more because obviously they're bottom of the league. Grimsby are mid-table in League 2, so they haven't actually, they're chilling. They're not going to go down. They're chilling. So their full focus will go into this game, after seeing how they played against Luton. And mate, I think we'd give Southampton a go. I think we could potentially beat Southampton if we played them right now. I'm not going to lie. People go, oh, delusional. No. They're not all that, mate. Trust me. They'll be in the Championship next season, yeah? Yes, remember that. And Bournemouth are above them, and we beat them last season. So your point is what? Even Forest beat them last season. So, yeah, why can't we beat Southampton if we played them? You tell me. I could see Grimsby doing something. There's also a player who is available to play. He wasn't available to play against Luton because obviously he's on loan from Luton, and that is McAtee. I would say he's a Grimsby legend as well. Not legend, but he's a massive player for them. The fans love him and all that. I could honestly see there being a shock. There doesn't usually tend to be shocks as we get to the 5th round. It's more earlier on. I remember last season, Boreham Wood got to the 5th round and then lost to Everton. So this is where the shocks usually tend to stop. But I'm going to go for Grimsby win, mate. I'm going to go for Grimsby win. I think it's going to be a mad game. I could potentially see it go to a replay, but I am going to go with a Southampton. Do you know what? Let me get the banner up. Nearly give it away like that. Southampton 2, Grimsby Town 3, mate. I'm going Grimsby to progress, mate. You heard it here first. Yeah, people. You heard it here first. Chris's prediction earlier for Man City's gone 3-1. He's even gone Grimsby win. See what I mean? Mate? Oh, I'm not the only one. So, yeah, man. There we go with that one. But yeah, moving on to the next game, which is Burnley versus Fleetwood. Now, this is an interesting one. Obviously, Burnley high flying in the league. They're going to win the league. It's just a matter of when. Taking on Fleetwood, obviously Mendes Gomez on loan from Luton, doing very well there. I'm looking forward to when he comes back, to be honest. I've always thought he was good. The reason he went down to where he did is because I think he's good for the Championship. He just needs to, sort out his physical side, and then I think he'll be a top player for us. But yeah, he's been smashing it at Fleetwood. But yeah, some insight on this game. This is the first ever meeting between Burnley and Fleetwood Town in any competition, which is a madness. Any competition, mate. League, whatever. Burnley have been eliminated in their last 6 FA Cup 5th round ties, last reaching the quarterfinal of the Cup in 2002-3 when they beat Fulham in that season's 5th round. This is Fleetwood's first ever FA Cup 5th round appearance, a massive shout out to them. Each of the last 7 teams reaching the 5th round for the first time have been knocked out at this stage. Wycombe Wanderers were the last such team to reach the quarterfinal in 2001 season. Fleetwood have won 7 of their last 10 away matches in the FA Cup, drawn 1 and lost 2. Although they've not beaten a side from a higher division away from home since joining the EFL, drawn 1 and lost 1. Of those 7 wins, 6 were against non-league sides and one against Crawley of League Two in December 2019. Burnley's 6 FA Cup goals this season have been scored by 3 different players, with Manuel Benson, Zauri, I can never say his name, and Teller, each netting a brace. The last team to have 4 different players net multiple goals in FA Cup matches in the same season were Tottenham in 2017-18, Harry Kane, Son, Llorente and Ericsson. I remember Llorente, he was a decent backup, to be fair, in my opinion. But yeah, Burnley versus Fleetwood. Obviously, like they say there, this is Fleetwood's first ever 5th round appearance. Burnley, it's not like they're in a position where obviously go out for every trophy that you're in. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but good opportunity for them to get far. In the league, it's not one of them where you've got to sacrifice it and try and focus on the league because, at the end of the day, the league's, it's wrapped up. It's just a matter of when are they actually going to win it. Fleetwood, I think Fleetwood could make it a game, but with Burnley being at home, they haven't lost at home all season. I'm going to go with but I think it will be tight though. I'm going to go Burnley 2, Fleetwood Town 1 in that one. Your predictions, Chris has gone 2-0 to Fleetwood. To Burnley. I'm on about. Yeah, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Hanno's gone 3-0 Burnley. Fair enough. So yeah, there we go with that one. Moving on to the next game, which is another Premier League encounter. The last 2 games in the FA Cup that we are on now. Manchester United versus West Ham United. So yeah, let's go into the insight. This will be the 12th FA Cup tie between Man United and West Ham, and first since the 5th round in 2020-21, a 1-0 Man United win. The Hammers have lost their last 4 matches, 4 ties between the sides, last winning in January 2001. A 1-0 victory at Old Trafford thanks to Palio Di Canio goal. What a player he was, by the way. West Ham United have won one of their last 20 away games against Manchester United in all competitions, drawn 4, lost 15. A 1-0 win in the League Cup in September 2021. I remember that. They haven't scored more than once in any of their last 37 visits to Old Trafford. Jesus. Since a 3-2 win in August 1986. Manchester United have won 13 of their last 15 home FA Cup games. Sorry about that. Since their last defeat at Old Trafford in the competition in March 2015 against Arsenal. They've also scored in their last 25 cup games on home soil since a 1-0 loss to Leeds in January 2010. West Ham are looking to reach the FA Cup quarter-final for the first time since 2015-16, knocking out Blackburn in that season's 5th round. The Hammers have lost their last 2 ties at this stage, including a defeat to Man United in 2020-21. In the current format of the FA Cup, 1925-26 onwards, Manchester United have progressed for more FA Cup 5th round ties than any other side, 41, and have gone on in their last 12 ties at this stage since a 1-0 defeat to Liverpool in 2005-6. Now, these games tend to be tight between these 2 sides. Obviously, they did play earlier on in the season at Old Trafford, and that was a 1-0. I actually thought West Ham were all right and quite unlucky not to at least get a point. Obviously, West Ham will be focusing more on trying to stay in the league. I could probably see them rotating a little bit, to be honest. United, on the other hand, obviously, they can still go out and win every trophy. I'm not saying they will, but, they're in it to win it in that sense. Obviously, they'll be buzzing from winning the League Cup as well. Yeah, I see United winning this one. Again, though, I see this, despite West Ham rotating a bit, I do see it being a tight one. And these teams do love a 1-0, game. So I'm going to go with the exact same score as it was in the league earlier on in the season. I'm going to go with a 1-0 to Manchester United in this one. Manish has gone 1-1. Interesting. You are obviously a United fan as well. Hanno's gone 2-1 United. Chris has gone 3-0 to the United. Wolf's gone 5-0. So yeah, there you go. There's your predictions there. And then moving on to the last game, another Championship versus Premier League encounter. And that is Sheffield United, the Blades, taking on Tottenham Hotspur. Now, let's go into some insight on this game. Sheffield United and Tottenham last met in the FA Cup in 1957 to 58, with the Blades winning 3-0 in the fourth round. The only time Spurs have beaten Sheffield United in the FA Cup was in the 1901 final, winning 3-1 in a replay Burnden Park. Spurs have won their last two matches against Sheffield United, both in the Premier League in the 2020-21 campaign. They last won 3 in a row against the Blades between 1975 and 1977. Sheffield United have progressed from each of their last two FA Cup fifth round ties in 2019-20 versus Reading and 2020-21, flipping hell, versus Bristol City. However, they've been eliminated in their last 5 ties at this stage against Premier League opponents since the 2-1 home win over Man United in 1992 to 93. Tottenham Hotspur looking to reach the FA Cup quarter-final stage for the first time since 2017 to 18. They've been eliminated at the fifth round stage in each of the last 3 seasons, which is interesting. Since his FA Cup debut in January 2016, Son has been involved in 25 goals in 27 appearances in the competition. For Tottenham, 14 goals, 11 assists, 7 more than any other player in that time, first round onwards. So this one's an interesting one. Sheffield United, if you're a Tottenham fan going into this, don't underestimate Sheffield United. They're doing very well. I think they'll get second in the Championship, where they've been most of the season. And they will be a Premier League team again for me next season. Taking on Tottenham, obviously Tottenham progressed in the last round against another Championship side away from home, 3-0 against Preston. Obviously Sheffield United are miles better though. Sheffield United will make it tough. But my prediction sounds like it's a dominated one, but I don't think it will be. I just think it could be close for a while, and then this team's quality will go in there. Sheffield United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 3 is my prediction for that one, and Tottenham to progress. That is what I reckon. So yeah, people, they are my predictions for the FA Cup games. So yeah, let's go through your last predictions on this one, then we'll move on to the Championship. 2-1 Tottenham, says Manish. Yeah, fair enough. That'd probably be my other prediction if I didn't say 3-1. 3-1 Tottenham, says Wolf. 2-1 Sheffield. They could do it. But yeah. So yeah, there we go. Stephen says, big up Ty, sorry I'm late. No, not a problem, mate. Big up yourself for tuning in now, mate. It's appreciated. But yeah, moving on. Moving on to the Championship. Obviously, there is rescheduled fixtures, obviously, from match day 23 and 29. Obviously, one of them does have my team, Luton Town, in it. We are taking on Millwall in a massive game. It's a madness because we're on the same points, the same goal difference, and everything like that. I think they're only above us on goals scored. Something. It's weird. But yeah, obviously the table, like, have a look at it here. Look at that. We're fifth. We're sixth. They're fifth. But yeah, I think it's literally they've scored one more goal than us, and yeah, I don't know. It's just mad. But yeah, obviously Luton are the favourites quite heavily, which I'm surprised about that it's not closer. Obviously Luton have not drawn in their last 5 home games. Surprisingly, given how we was at the start of the season. Millwall obviously doing well recently. Got their prediction right the other day. But yeah, let's go into a bit of insight on this one. The last 4 meetings between Luton and Millwall at Kenilworth Road have all ended as draws. I remember going to the game last season. Very good game if you're a neutral. 2-2. It was annoying the way we defended that game, but going forward, we were brilliant. Millwall have only lost 1 of their last 9 league games against Luton, which is obviously impressive. 1-3, drawn 5, going down 2-0 in October 2021. Was that a Cornick double? Yeah, that was a Cornick double, wasn't it? Luton have lost 2 of their last 4 home league matches, 1-2, as many as their previous 17 beforehand. Won 6, drawn 9, lost 2. So many draws, man. The Hatters could suffer back-to-back league defeats at Kenilworth Road for the first time since November 2021. Millwall have only won 1 of their 9 midweek, which is, good to hear if you're a Luton fan. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, obviously, they're talking about championship games this season. Drawn 5, lost 3. A 3-0 home win over Watford. That's funny, isn't it? The only one they won is over Watford and all. And in the last one, Tom Bradshaw has scored in 3 of his last 4 league appearances against Luton for Millwall. So you've got to watch out for him. 3 goals with one of those 3 strikes coming at Kenilworth Road. So, yeah, like I said, Luton are the favourites on here quite heavily, which I'm surprised about. I thought it'd be a lot closer. It's whoever wins this, it's massive for them. Because obviously the other game is Preston Coventry, it means whoever loses will still be in the playoffs anyway. So that's a good thing you could say there. But then, it's one way you're falling points behind. There's teams chasing as well, like your Norwiches. Even if Coventry get a result this week, they could be, a couple of points off. So it's mad. It is absolutely mad. Sunderland as well, they'll want to try and bounce back after their last couple of results. You have to admit it, Watford as well. Do you know what I mean? So it is a massive game. It is on TV. We don't have a TV voodoo like we used to. And do you know what? Millwall have not lost. They've not drawn any of their last 5 away games, and we haven't. And at home, we haven't drawn any of our games. You'd say draw, probably a lot of people, because you look at, how they are. We're on the same point, same goal difference. But Luton, is starting to do a lot better at home. Obviously, we did lose our last game. That was Burnley. The performance was there. I'm going to back Luton to do it, mate. I'm going to back Luton to do it. And I'm going to go exactly what it was against Norwich when we took them on in the midweek game. And that was a 2-1. And I'm going to go with the exact same, mate. I'm going to back us to do it. Obviously, we both won our last game 1-0. But, yeah, I'm going to back us. I'm going to back us to get the win, man. I'm going to back us to get that win. Which will be massive, which will be absolutely massive. 2-1 Luton for me. Your predictions. Chris has gone 2-0 to Tottenham. Fair enough. How am I singing that song? Luton 1-1. Yeah, fair enough, Chris, mate. Fair enough. I was thinking a draw, but then more I thought about it, I'm going to back the boys 2-1, man. 2-1 Luton says, how many 7-0 Luton, imagine. And I'll go to the championship thing, calculated tables, do you lot get it? And then the last game is another championship game, of course. An interesting one because I didn't actually know Preston's record was this good against Coventry, which you guys are about to see on the inside. So let me just go on to it. Insight on this one. Preston are unbeaten in their last 18 league meetings with Coventry. 1-11, drawn 7. Since they've won more than they've drawn as well against them. Since a 2-1 defeat in September 2007, their longest unbeaten run against a particular opponent in their Football League history. Coventry have never won in 20 visits to Preston in the Football League. Drawn 7, lost 13. Spanning from 1949 to 2021, losing each of their last 3 in a row. Preston are unbeaten in their last 13 midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Home league games 1, 5, drawn 8. Obviously, one of them was to Luton. Since a 1-0 defeat to Watford, unfortunately for them. Coventry have lost 4 of their last 5 away league games. This after losing 3 times in their first 10 on the road this season beforehand. 1-3, drawn 1, lost 4. They did, however, win their last such outing 2-0 at Rotherham, which was impressive because Rotherham are not doing too bad for their first season. A couple of results recently have not been the best, and obviously they are playing tonight, so it's going to be interesting to see how they do there against an inconsistent Swansea. But, getting a clean sheet, impressive. And then the last thing, Coventry manager Mark Robbins is winless in his last 8 meetings with Preston, league meetings. Drawn 3 and lost 5 since a 2-0 victory in charge of Barnsley in February 2011. So them stats are mad. I think things Coventry do have to look at, which are positive going into it, though, is the fact, Preston are the 23rd, so the second most worst away side in the league. But then if you're a Preston fan, you are feeling confident due to that record. 18 league meetings unbeaten, that midweek record as well. Most people probably would say a draw, which does make sense. But do you know what? I think this is where Coventry could end this record and break it. They are doing really well recently. Ever since the Luton game, they've been unbeaten. I did get their game right the other day as well. Had a cracking week in the Championship. 4 games spot on. Still a game tonight I could get spot on. Preston, they are, you look at the table, they are literally, they're one of the teams that are in the playoff race, but they're, further off it, and their chances are a lot slimmer, of getting it. It's an interesting one. I think this is where Coventry break it. I really do. I'm going to back Coventry. They're some run as well at the moment. Like I said, they're unbeaten since the Luton game. It's like 3 or 4 games ago. So I'm going to go 1-0. I'm going to go 1-0 to Coventry. It'll be tight, but I think they'll break that record. I really do. So yeah, people, they are my predictions for everything. What I'll do now before I wrap up is get up the table and what it looked like if results was way, just in case anyone gets confused. Just going to change something on my StreamYard just quickly. A second. So yeah, there we go. I'm just going to change that to that. See, we are doing a hat show later as well, so make sure you do tune into that at 6:30. But yeah, results, I think obviously only 2 games, but this is what it would mean. Luton would jump up to 4th, which is where I said we'd finish at the start of the season. We'd only be a point off Middlesbrough as well. So it shows what that, Middlesbrough result the other day means. It's mad. It is absolutely mad. Millwall, like I said, they'd still be in the playoffs. 6th place. We'd obviously go above Blackburn as well. And then Coventry, that's what I mean. Look, they'd jump up to 8th, 2 points off the playoffs. It's madness. Absolute madness. Preston would be 12th, mid-table, which isn't too bad. Still, like I said, still fighting for, a team that could, fight for the playoffs. That are, but they're, further away. I don't think they'll get playoffs, but they are a team in it. Obviously, there is a lot of teams battling for it this season. Yeah, so it's all interesting. So yeah, people, hopefully Luton could jump up to 4th. That would be nice. We could even, I don't want to get too gassed, but you look at that, we're only a point off Middlesbrough. We could even get 3rd, people. Do you know what I mean? Like, geez. We will see, man. We will see what goes on. But yeah, people, I'm going to stop sharing that now. Your predictions for that. Hanno's gone 1-1 with Preston and Coventry. Yeah, fair enough. And then Chris has gone with a 2-1 to Preston. Yeah, that's fair enough. After seeing them stats, it totally makes sense why you back Preston. But I think this is where, where they'll do it. Let's get second, please, so I can at least one prediction correct of the standings. Oh, dear. But yeah, people, that is where I am going to wrap up this stream. So obviously that is my FA Cup 5th round and EFL Championship Game Week 23 and 29 rescheduled fixtures predictions. Big up Tottenham trophy behind Tyler, says Wolf on my days. But now, big up to everyone that's went in, came into the stream. I know a lot of people watch it back on playback as well. Quite a lot of views considering, it's a stream it's not really the one of them sort of ones that it would go out to people on YouTube. So yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in, man. We're currently on 14 likes. Don't forget to smash that like button if you haven't already. And do subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Let me see if there is any new subscribers. I know there was earlier, so big up to yourself, whoever that was. That is much appreciated. No new subscribers in the stream, but like I said, I know we got one earlier. So yeah, big up to yourself for that. And like I said, we'll be back again at 6:30, not long at all now, for the Hatter Show. Obviously discussing the game against Birmingham, and then obviously previewing that massive game into more detail against Millwall. So yeah, Hanno says, T, you still training boxing? Yeah, I'm still doing all that stuff, mate. So yeah, don't forget to smash a like on the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you are new with the notification bell on. That would be much appreciated. If you do want to follow me across any of my socials, links to them are in the description. Subscribe to my other channel as well, T-Boys TV Extra. Big up everyone that checked out the watch-along highlights Hanno posted. I checked it out myself. It was quality. Even though Liverpool lost, obviously, my second team, it was funny, the edits Hanno put in and that. So big up himself for that. And, that is everything. That is everything I want to say. So, yeah, I will hopefully see you lot at 6:30 for the Hatter Show. So until next time, take care and peace.